All right, the mic check. Oh, hold on. Mic check going good. All right. So now we back in action. Okay. Um, yeah, it took a little hiatus, man. To be honest, I haven't felt like doing this, and especially when you get like 43,000 people that looked at it, you kind of like, oh man, what am I gonna do next? And then I don't know, man. It's kind of like, where do you go from there? But then I had a buddy of mine hit me up. He's like, "Man, I think you found your lane, man." And I was like, I don't know. But then I was like, "Why did I stop doing it?" Um, Someone's stomping around upstairs. So yeah, I guess you look for the perfect conditions to make it happen. Take two. The reason I haven't been doing this is because it's nice to do it uninterrupted when no one's in the house, and the house ain't been empty. Um, that and I just haven't really felt like it, And it's like setting the lights up, setting the camera up, finding a place to do it all. We're in the basement, okay, my little creation station. Um, and then you're like, man, it kind of took off a little bit. Not, I don't know. You do something, you don't expect anyone to see it, and then people start doing it, and you're like, oh man. So we can cut into it, man. This episode is about being yourself and addictions and honesty, man, because that it kind of all goes hand in hand. Um, I'm almost a year and a half sober, and it's weird saying that because I don't know. I kind of got, and you can be addicted to all kinds of things, man. You can be addicted to substances, you can be addicted to eating, you can be addicted to wasting time, scrolling, video games, anything that's not productive to being the best version of yourself, caffeine. But I kind of use caffeine as a motivational substance, a liquid that makes me do stuff when I don't feel like it. Because why? Getting the motivation to do stuff is not easy. Or motivation, I don't know, just to get the oomph, the wind in your sails to go that way and do this. And so yeah, man, I've been on the substances myself for since I was about 11 years old. And it wasn't because like, oh, I tried it and it was cool. It was like my sister got diagnosed with cancer, a leukemia, and you watch someone struggle with that, and at a young age, you don't really know what's going on, what's happening. You kind of, oh, I'm just hearing what's happening, what's going on, and then it all ends. She didn't make it, man, and I didn't deal with it super well. Um, there was a lot of anxieties, all kinds of stuff, man. I didn't really feel like myself, and I felt like the heat was on. I was in like fifth or sixth grade. All the teachers knew about it. Everyone knew about it. She went to the same school and stuff, and it was kind of like the big thing in town, and like all the eyes were on you, and you're like, oh shit. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? Thank you, but I don't even know how to take any of this stuff in. And then so for a long time, I was just trying to be comfortable. Um, and that, where I grew up, the influences that were around. I mean, you do, and I guess anywhere you go, you want to feel comfortable. You want to be at ease with something, and that was my issue. Is that I never, we had therapy. We had our dad hooked us up with everything that his insurance would allow, and there was a communication that we needed. That you're young and you don't feel like you can talk to anyone. Um, that's it's hard to be honest. You know what I mean? So you lie to people and you're like, oh, I'm okay, and that's kind of where it starts. And then um, I got into it pretty hard, man. You know what I mean? Harder than anyone else that I knew, and I just constantly stayed busy with that because that felt more comfortable than dealing with the feelings that I wasn't really ready to deal with. or talk about. You know what I mean? A lot of those issues, you know, it was hard to talk about for a long time until, you know, you have your guards up. You don't want to be hurt again. You want to act tough. It's a bug in here. um, and you want to act like nothing phases you. And in that era of life, it was like, oh, dudes don't cry. No one cries. It's just, if you're hurt, hold it in. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of one of those things like you didn't want to have a soft spot. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was hurting, man. I was hurting pretty good. And then I kind of got into substances, and I was like, well, if my sister can be taken at a moment's notice for no reason, really, my moment could be any time. Um, and so, yeah, I kind of lived with the fact that I could die any moment, and I was kind of turning that knob to make it happen even more often, give it a higher chance. And then also, I was like, man, I'll just stay inebriated, and all this stuff kills brain cells. I'll delete those memories. You know what I mean? You're not thinking wisely when you're on these things. And so, high school, I had a lot of substance abuse issues, but guess what? It was in, buddy. Party hard. It was on music videos. It was at the house parties you saw. It made it easier to talk to chicks. It made it easier to talk to people. It made it easier to go to school. It made it easier to be around people. Um, and that's not good. You know what I mean? Like having something aid you and something that you should be able to do. It felt like a cheat code. You know what I mean? I don't know. It made it easier, seems like. Um, you know, so middle school, heavy substance abuse, heavy substance use, high school's heavy substance use, and then like it all started cracking. You know what I mean? Like you know, it was like 24/7, you know, days on end, trying to be comfortable with being yourself, and you didn't want to be in your own body, so it was different, man. Um, and that was the thing in high school. I mean, everyone wants to have a lot of friends. They want to feel connected. You know what I mean? So like you you try to fit in, which wasn't the greatest thing because having a lot of friends, you see a lot of the wrong sides of people because no one knows who they are yet. You know what I mean? Everyone's kind of just going with the flow. And a lot of people, I mean, where I grew up, there was a lot of people. And after meeting a lot of people, seeing them on substances and getting done wrong, getting stolen from, you know, seeing people who wanted to be your friends for the wrong reasons. Oh, he's got, you know, he's got a lot of girls, or he can party a lot, or he's got, you know, you start seeing people come around for the wrong reasons. And you learn a lot. Or if you don't, you get done the same way by a lot of the different people in the same way. And you're like, oh man, that's on them, that's on them. And the truth was, I just kind of really needed to quit kicking with people. And, but you don't. You know what I mean? It's fun. Oh, party over here, party over there. Oh, summertime, every night. You know what I mean? Like it moves fast, and it's kind of one of those lives that you get sucked into, and it's like, oh man, I got a lot of friends. There's chicks. There's stuff to do. There's things going on every single night. You're busy, and it's, you know, like, so you get used to that, you know, and that's just life for a little while. And people tried to tell me, man, I went to rehabs and stuff and sober living places, and had people older than me try to tell me, you know, oh, young man, man, noise, the noise, smarter than y'all, or you know, I don't know. I still wasn't honest with myself yet, and I was like, man, I can keep doing this, and I don't know, I don't know. So like, you kind of keep dabbling with things and hitting rock bottom, bouncing back, getting clean, falling back into old ways, hitting rock bottom even harder, you know, and then bouncing back, and then you start feeling the air in your ball deflate. And there's probably not going to be any more bouncing back. And then you kind of get honest with yourself. I'm like, man, when was my favorite time in life? You know, and I kind of remember, like, man, when I was a kid before any of this happened, you know, the Sunday morning cartoons, The waking up with nothing going on before school, dude. Before a alarm clock had to wake you up, you had to be ready for anything. Like being a kid was legit. It was unmatched. You didn't have any responsibilities. I want to grow up. That was the dumbest thing I ever said to myself. And a lot of people agree because why? Oh, I can't wait to wake up on the schedule earlier than I want to and go to work at a place I don't really care for. And then, uh, but how are you feeling today? I'm feeling great. Lie to them too. Like, it's white lies. It's like what blue collar people have to do to white collar people to keep your job. How are you feeling today? I'm great. It's fucking 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not great. Moving on, So that's I don't I don't envy growing up. I don't care to do it anymore. So I'm growing down. And what was you know um, a year and a half sober now, a year and like 8 months sober. Yeah, and I never thought it could be possible because it never has been done in my life. It's like, man, if I feel bad, multiply it by 20, and that's how I'm going to feel in 10 years because it just goes downhill. If you don't replenish the nutrients and vitamins and minerals in your body and all the this and that, if you don't take care of yourself, guess what? It's just going to feel worse. Um, and so I kind of, instead of getting off stuff, I had to replace it. Drinking and smoking and all that. I had to replace that stuff with self-improvement. And you got to look at it in life. Addictions, I feel, are the things that are stopping you from being your better self, the best version of yourself. Because we've all been, well, I'm sure everyone's been the worst version of themselves at some point. And you look at like, man, I could make some changes. But what the changes, how do you make them last? How do you do it? You know what I mean? Like caffeine sometimes. You wake up, caffeine, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because of this. Or, change. How do you make it happen? How do you make it last? You have to put a system into play to make it last. You can try and wish, oh, I can wish myself into better shape. Guess what? That doesn't work. I can wish to have a better life. That's not going to work. You got to figure out, like, oh, these little puzzle pieces, they're all scattered out. And if I can start slowly putting them into place, I can start seeing the picture that I'm trying to do. And that's one step at a time. It's just taking the staircase to life one step at a time, and it's so that's the thing. You got to get addicted to self-improvement, and self-improvement isn't things that waste your time. I've been doing this. I was like, oh, I'm going to do an episode a week. I haven't. It's been like a couple months, a month or so. I know it hasn't been every week because here I'm like, oh man, do I know where the wires go for all this stuff? It's lights where I can put it. Do I know how to work the machine? Do I know how to do the mic? It's all. If I've been doing it every week, it'd be easy, but I'd have it already set up and be continuing on my toil. But here we are. Okay, I hit record, so it's not all just, and everyone's like, well, you're just talking to yourself in your basement. How's that hard? Dude, it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? To sit there and carry on a subject and let it, especially when you're like, oh man, there's probably people going to watch this. What are they going to watch? Some guy sitting in his basement talking about toil and this and that. No, I'm trying to help someone. And then I had a buddy of mine reach out to me. He's like, dude, you found it. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Where's it at? Where's episode 6? And I was like, oh man, I forgot that I was doing that. I was kind of like, I was looking on eBay, trying to buy nostalgia, trying to live in the past. But then that's the thing too. Sometimes you don't always have to be on schedule. You got to take some time to enjoy life and just go on walks, listen to music, listen to vinyl, play DVDs. I'm tired of streaming. And just do things to better your quality of life. And that's kind of where we're at. And the addictions thing, it's not an easy thing to break, man. Like, oh, I watch too much TV. I wish I could be in shape. I grew up with a dad who's been bodybuilding his entire life. You know what I mean? So someone, I couldn't be like, Dad, I'm genetically like overweight. He like, nah, he's not trying to hear that, man, because he's 60-ish, up in his 60s, doing his bodybuilding competition this year. Um, he's in excellent shape, and that doesn't happen because he wished for it, and he's always been an excellent role model to me and hadn't given up, which is fucking sweet because I think a lot of other people would, but it takes a dedicated person to kind of deal with a lost cause. But, I guess, like, from what I've learned and the father that I've had, I guess I can maybe help someone because this hasn't gotten 43,000 views. If it hasn't helped at least one person or the algorithm or whatever, I don't really care, but it feels good for me to do. Um, and maybe it might help somebody. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's probably all kinds of self-help, uh, character building, um, podcasts, books. I mean, yeah, there is because I've had to. That's one thing I've done is when I'm doing this. You just don't sit there and be like, "Oh, I want to be better." You gotta read books, man. You gotta listen to them. If you can't read them, everyone's like, "Oh, audiobooks. They don't make it. It, it doesn't make sense. You're not sitting there reading it. Doesn't matter. You're soaking in the information, okay, from someone smarter than you. Sometimes when life's hard, it's easiest to just learn something new and like, oh man, it kind of makes life a little easier. And it's gonna take a lot of books, man. And you can't just sit there and watch media and watch sports games and watch movies of all this crap or play video games. Like sometimes you gotta listen, put your mind on, your focus, your ears, your eyes, whatever on subject material that is gonna help you. You know what I mean? When you're in math, you're not like, oh, okay, let's watch Seinfeld. And you all know how to long divide after 2 seasons of Seinfeld, or you're in history class, like, oh, let's watch a couple of DVDs to Curb Your Enthusiasm, and y'all know how the Spanish War went. It's not how it works. So I mean, you really kind of, if you want to get smarter, you have to do it. You know what I mean? And it's not like this hard thing to do. Everyone's like they're mad at millionaires and billionaires, but you can learn from them. You know what I mean? You can figure out how they got to where they're at because there's thousands of podcasts, thousands of books on, passive income, wealth, building, management, stocks, money management. Like, life is only as hard as you can let it be. And that's knowledge. You know what I mean? When they say it's power, they're not lying. Like, you got to look at your mind as a car. If it has a quarter of a horsepower, okay, that's like high school education. You get a quarter horsepower. And then you get college education. That's like a full horsepower. Okay. Then you get all these books, all these like, you know, you got to learn how to teach yourself. Learning, it takes some time, you know. But once you can self-teach, that's where the rhythm starts. It starts getting fun. Like, oh man, I can learn this. I can learn how to do that. I can be uh, pretty multifaceted in my endeavors. You know what I mean? I can kind of do a little of this, kind of do a little of that, but then that kind of connects. So then you can kind of put things together a little easier and understand things and kind of look at the world in a different point of view. So the more that you learn, it does kind of, like wealth and interest, it does kind of compound. You kind of start like, you got to look at life from when it was real simple, man. When it was just like, oh, food and the wheel, like simple inventions, start learning that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to tell you something how knowledge works or the English language, or just get good at something. Get good at learning words, saying words, reading books, putting it together, being able to relay the knowledge in a fact or in a sense where you can teach someone something. I don't know. Maybe that's what this is. I don't know. Um, and I'm rambling, kind of. Where are we at? 18 minutes. It almost feels like an hour. I guess because I'm kind of ramped up on caffeine. It is 11:20. I've already walked the dog. That's one new thing in my life that's happened. My wife found a dog outside, wandering without an owner. Been kind of giving time to that lately. And It's a dog. Moving on. So here we are on a Sunday afternoon-ish with much more of the day to go. And being yourself. Bang. Let's step onto that because that seems like it's easier said than done. And it is when you look at everyone in society these days. You can go to a mall, Walmart, Sam's, Costco, restaurant, and see a carbon copy version of the same kid, the same adult, the same mom. And it's kind of like you wear the same clothes, you blend in, you do what it is to not stand out because if you stand out around uh, anywhere, people are going to look at you. That's going to feel a little odd. But that's because you're standing for being you. You're being unique. Blending in, like, what is that, dude? Like, out here in the Midwest, I don't blend in, and that's kind of like one of the things that I've learned and know because you get a lot of eyes on you. And it's not like it's like a, like a frumpy, and and then you look at them, they don't break eye contact. Um, I guess I know I'm not something from around here, from the coast of the city. Um, they kind of stare at you like cows in the field, like, and it's an odd feeling, but I'm not gonna like quit being me and like, oh man, let me put on like a cowboy hat and some blue jeans and a pearl snap and a Ford pickup truck, Dodge Duramax or Cummins. Like, that's not me. Um, and and if people want to do that, that's great. That's kind of like what the culture is, and I can appreciate it, but I I don't see myself that way. I like wearing colorful stuff. I like wearing stuff it's hot outside, summertime, wear some shorts, wear some tank tops, whatever. I don't care. If it even matches, you know what I mean? But that's the thing, like I'm comfortable in my own skin. And I know that's harder for a lot of people to do because you don't see more people just being themselves. Because I don't know. I guess you're only gonna do what you know, and if you only know one thing, or you get ostracized for trying something new, or like, oh, look at him. What is he trying to be? Chain swinging. What do he got chain for on? Because I like it. It's cool. It feels cool to swing it. Um, and Mr. T used to wear chains, and he's a pretty cool guy. And uh, you know, wear whatever you want. Fashion is what you think is cool, and sometimes what you think is cool, not everyone's gonna like, and that's great because you don't have to be something that everyone likes. Why? Because that's fake. Like, oh, I want to wear this so they will like me. If you don't like that and you're wearing that so someone else can like you, that doesn't make any sense. I guess if you want to be popular, but like, what is popular? You got a lot of eyes on you. Then what is it for? I want to be the biggest, hardest worker anyone's ever seen, so they can say, "Look at him. He works hard," or "He does a good job," or "He works his life away," or well, who cares about that either? Um, because then you're like, you're wondering about what people think and how your actions or how your wardrobe's taken on other people, and you're worrying about other people's thoughts. And I think from a young age that we're told to, oh, people will think this if you wear that, or you gotta look the part, or you gotta, there's a kind of, you gotta break that, like I remember when I was in high school, man, I had friends that like, I had a birthday party, bro, and we shaved mohawks into two of my buddies' heads, and they went to their parents' house. We had to drop them off in the Astro van because this was back like up the 2000s, the early O's, and SLC punk days. And their parents were mortified, dude. They had Elmer's glue. Shoof. Foot tall mohawks coming home to suburb white people's parents. They're mortified, man, but like we were having a great time. And yeah, they didn't like that. But their parents let them keep being them. And um, and that was a cool thing because I think, especially in middle and high school, you're like, man, I want to be myself, or I want to do what I think is cool. And whatever's cool might make you an outcast, but you'll still have those friends. You know what I mean? I was friends with skateboarders, punks, the rockers, the wiggers, the everybody, dude. We had like so many cultures where we were at, so it didn't matter, like you kind of just everyone was free to be themselves, and like when you saw that on someone, you just clicked because it wasn't like they're trying to be something. They've got a mix match of this, y'all, you know, bumped up at the skate park. Everyone listens to different kinds of music, art class, and making all kinds of art. Everyone was creative, so it wasn't like, that was the style. You wore it on you. You know what I mean? Like you just experimented. You know what I mean? Oh man, I might pierce my ear, or pierce both my ears, or shave my head, or like color my hair, or wear studded jackets, listen to the Misfits, all kinds of stuff, dude. Oh man, I like that. It's angst, it's anger. I like listening to Limp Bizkit, Korn, Deftones, everything, and or I like listening to hip hop. I don't only listen to one style of music because I like this. This is pretty cool over here. This is pretty cool over here. That's all different styles. You're gonna have art that comes in different styles. You're gonna have music, movies, fashion, everything, and you just blend it all together. You find out what you like, mess around with a little bit of this, mess around with a little bit of that, and have fun with it, man. It's life from all angles, dude. So, and that's, everyone wants to do that. I don't think too many people want to be made fun of or like labeled as an outsider, especially when there's not a lot of outsiders in the Midwest. Because, like, once you get outsided, like me, you don't make a lot of friends. But you attract certain people. Um, and that's the cool thing about it, that like when you're yourself and you kind of take off that mask of like, let me be acceptable for everyone, you start noticing that like there are others like you out there. It's few and far between. You'll find them. You know what I mean? It's gonna make you feel like you're a loner and kind of like by yourself. But like that's the one thing in life too that is an uncomfortable thing, that it takes time to get used to. Like wanting a lot of friends and having a bunch of friends, you get used to a lot of friends. Oh man, and then you're like, man, less is more. You know what I mean? I need to not be around so many people, and then being comfortable with being alone is like, oh man, how do I do that? And um, and not being surrounded by people and just kind of dealing with, you know, your thoughts and your wants and your needs, and like, how do I keep myself busy? How do I keep myself constructive? And that's a a big thing too. Like people get anxiety about being around a lot of people. You get used to that, and then then it's like this weird anxiety. Like when you're done with people, all that, and you just want to be alone. You're like, man, dealing with that anxiety of being by yourself is kind of how do I find a healthy way to deal with that? And that's just kind of leaning real hard into your creativity and staying busy on productive things, because you can go the opposite way. You can deal with people in a bad way with a bunch of medication or stuff like this, or you can like kind of meditate, just do it easily. Like I don't know what it's like to never use substances, to make it easier to be around people, um, until now, but that just, it's a hard thing because like I just never had to do it until now. And then now I just don't like being around people. I mean, I do if they're like, I don't know, it's easier, but I have like the tools and stuff that I've like the loot drops that I've found along the way of my journey. So like there's ways that I can make it feel comfortable that are safe, you know, are like legal. So, um, you know, life's easier. I guess it's, you know, I make it harder. I make it seem like it's harder than it is. I think I don't know. I don't know. Where was I at? Honesty. Probably missing out on something, but we'll do a 30-minute episode. Keep it short. The other ones were a little longer. I'm feeling better. Feeling better about it. But big thanks, Hugo, to shoot me the message on Instagram to continue the toil. Um, we're back. We're back in the basement, being creepy. I hope my neighbors aren't like have a cup to the ground. They got someone living right above me, but I don't think they're home. So we're on the toil, man. So August, whatever day this is, 16th, episode's done. We back on track. Enjoy the day, everyone. Enjoy the weekend.